Extraordinary Times Internet News Show. What do you know about news, haters? And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us through this week of news. If you have anything you want to see that we've covered, go check out our new playlist function over thusly. I'll be right over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you can. Yeah. So our first story of today actually comes out of Oregon, where they busted a guy who was scamming people for hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, pretending to be a charity related to Navy veterans, and they got him. They got the guy, but he isn't known to anyone ever. Apparently, they ran his fingerprints, and he is no one, and he is not cooperating with the police. And when they get him to sign his name, all it is a big X, because he's a classy guy like that.
And they found a few names. They found like a couple different birth certificates, a few different social securities, and everyone has a different name.
So really, honestly, he's from Russia and stole identities here. Whatever. But
all right.
Moving on. We'll talk about Russia in a minute.
So over in Salt Lake City, there was a woman that went and had to buy some essentials, some tampons, for lack of a better term. She bought a few boxes, took them home, and opened one up, and had some bags of cocaine in it.
Satchels, balloons, if you will, of cocaine. Wow.
Completely shocked her, as it would any normal person. She did talk to the police. She was tweeting while the police were there. But yeah, this is something nobody in that area has ever really seen before. And they went and confiscated all the tampons in that particular store. So sorry to any women in the area. But
wow.
Yeah, evidently that's a thing. And be careful of anything you buy. She's saying, yeah, if anything that you get looks like it's being tampered with or been tampered with, be careful about opening it. And I'm just thinking, you shouldn't have bought it in the first place.
It was necessary. But moving on. So apparently Russia threatening NATO with strikes against missile sites is still a thing. I thought that had all ended back in 89, 91, whatever it was, when the Cold War allegedly ended. But apparently it's a thing again. So Russia's trying to flex their big Russian muscles and intimidate NATO into doing stuff. So
their big deflated muscles.
Aww.
Anyway,
no more.
Now we're enemies.
No more steroids for those muscles.
Now Russia's going to declare war in extraordinary times too, not just like North Korea.
Yay!
Anyway. All right, so
let's have an international incident. Yeah.
I don't know if I can cover this one with a straight face, but I will attempt to. So over in Britain, there is a survey, or at least data collected. Turns out those of Asian descent are jumping in eye damage, like by good 20%. I think they said jump.
20 to 30.
20-30% jump on the average of people of Asian descent having eye problems. And they're saying it's actually most likely caused, and from what they can see, caused from lack of sunlight. Too much schooling?
Too much schooling? Too much video? No, not too much video games. No such thing. Too much studying, probably. It's only a stereotype if it's not backed up by facts, right?
Sure.
Statistics is not stereotyping.
Right.
But we move on to actual other important news. Apparently I'm covering all the war stuff. But Benjamin Netanyahu, for those of you who don't know, runs a little country called Israel over in the Middle East area. And for those of you who don't know your history, Israel, ever since it was founded in 1945 or 6, after World War II,
right.
I'm not going to give a specific date because I don't know my history, but moving on.
I don't know Dave.
they've been under constant attack by basically all of their neighbors because, well, it was basically Britain and the U.S. Carving up the area and being like, hey, the Jews get their own slice of their original nation state from way back in ancient times, and all of the Islamic states over there have basically had it out for them for what was
since it was created.
40, 70 years now, 70-something years. Yeah. So yeah, they live in a constant state of fear of their neighbors, and that's one of the reasons that the Israelis are so well equipped for war, because they kind of have to be all the time, or else they will get subjugated in the same way that they once were. But the reason we're even talking about this is that Benjamin Netanyahu has decided for himself that he is going to dissolve Parliament and advance the election process to a year earlier than it's supposed to be, and transition the government over to, well, a transitional state where they have to figure out all the new cabinet places and all the new, parliamentary things, and thusly he will be free to do whatever he wants for a unspecified amount of time, and he wants to do this in the September-October timeframe, so that in the October to the New Year timeframe, he can do whatever he wants with his military, and
without President Obama interfering.
Well, President Obama, of course, being tied up in elections and not wanting to get in a fracas in the Middle East while he's attempting to be reelected, failing. But moving on, he's basically trying to play this political game where he gets to have all of his power unchecked for a short amount of time so he can deal with Iran. Specifically, that's actually kind of the whole punchline, is that Iran is flexing their nuclear muscles the way that Iran does, kind of deflatedly, and Netanyahu's getting nervous, and it's kind of a scary time because, well, one thing you don't want is Israel needing to go attack someone, because Israel will kind of win, and win hard, even with heavy losses on their side. They fight, and they don't tolerate losing. So I don't know what to do.
I really don't even know what to think about this story, because it's just, why is he even, putting it off or doing it early for a year? He could have just done something during that year's time. I don't know. It's complicated. I don't know too much about Israeli political system, so more research is necessary on this.
Either way, look into it, because, wars over in the Jerusalem area
affects us.
They affect us not only, but also this is end times kind of stuff, and it's kind of weird that it's happening right now, and it's I don't know,
conspiracy theorist.
Not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not a Revelations, it's the end times kind of nut,
the 1 in 7,
but yeah, but it's a little freaky that it's all right now, and it's crazy, and
moving
on. More home news.
This is actually kind of, bad and cool at the same time. So there is a guy that named, let's see, J. David Golden. Oh no, yeah. He had a lot of old records, still has actually a lot of old records, and has donated a lot to the National Archives. He is really big on preserving the history of the recorded voice, especially in record form, as in, like vinyls and the circles, not CDs, the big ones. Do your research if you're too young. Well, he looked on eBay recently, just glancing around, and happened to see one that is a one-of-a-kind that he donated to the National Archives. The National Archives doesn't sell things on eBay. So he started looking into it and did a lot of his own sleuthing, if you will, a lot of his own detective work, and eventually uncovered this inside job selling of illegal things from the National Archives through this person who's like a retired former head of the National Archives, something like that. Either way, he's awesome. He just completely took care of this. He worked with law enforcement to actually get this all done, and has stopped this from happening. Unfortunately, there are still a lot of illegal records out there. This particular one that he saw sold for like only $34, so a lot of people don't even know what they're getting. So who knows if they're ever going to be able to get all these important national treasures back. But at least this has been taken care of up to this point.
Yeah, and it's so weird to think that these real historical, like, important things are just being fricasseed away. And, well, now at least, yeah, $35. Oh, my gosh. But we end today on a dour note for those of us who grew up with the Beasties, the Beastie Boys being, one of our musical influences. Adam Yauch, also more famously known as MCA, succumbed to his battle with cancer today at the age of 47. That is upsetting for
saddening
for all of us who love Beastie's music. I actually only heard about it after I got off work today, and I was driving around and listening to our local 94.5 The Buzz. And they played a lot of Beasties today, and I didn't understand why. I just thought they were having a really, really good day. And, I apparently was out of the car every time that they mentioned, by the way, MCA died. But, for me, my first reaction, of course, when I read it, and I read that he died in New York City, of course, was, well, at least he was at home. So,
prayers are with his families.
And, go buy some Beasties. Apparently they're coming out with a new album sometime in the short future, and it's already taken care of and done. And, highlight, of course, in April, the Beasties were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Even though Adam, the Yauch, was not able to be there because, well, he was laid up being all sick with cancer and things. So, anyways, we're going to end now on the high note of go buy you some Beasties and listen to it, and maybe run through the whole License to Ill album if you want. I'm probably going to do that tonight. And well, thanks for watching. Please keep watching. We love you guys. I'm Jeremy.
I'm AJ.
And these are extraordinary times. Be aware. I can cut that.